The collection that we steward here at the Met from Mesopotamia is a very excellent one. It doesn't compare to what the National Museum of Iraq, the Iraq Museum, the Louvre has an extraordinary collection. But what we here at the Met can offer is an enormous platform for the study of Mesopotamia. The chance, the opportunities with that platform to have education, but also very importantly, conversations about the objects, about the cultures, about the people who made these objects and who made these important innovations. So that's, and the legacies up until today, which are tremendous. We're far apart in time, but not at all in our the search for ingenuity. And so I think those are the conversations that the collection here allows and affords. Some of the earliest material that came in were tablets, because the 19th century, the entire impetus for Europeans and Americans who came a little bit later to go to the Middle East, to the Near East, was often motivated by a search for the veracity of the Bible, right? So the thought was that tablets held that information. The tablets that came in so early, and there are lots of long explanations of how they came in, that's one sort of pass of the original collecting. But then the Met became very involved with excavations, especially from 1930, like the early 30s on. And that lasted in various places up until the late 60s. But that really accounts for our involvement with excavations for about a third of the collection, because in the days that the excavations were going on until, up until about 1970, there was a system of partage, which was a sharing of finds. It's a colonial legacy. We continue to this day to participate in excavations, but there's no longer a sharing of the discoveries. In addition to the third of the collection that was accumulated through excavation and partage, there's also lots of purchases that were made in different sort of trends, and also gifts over the years and bequests. From, I would say, about 2000 on, but acquisitions have come down to a trickle, and we really don't focus on acquisitions at all anymore in our department. The Met does, of course, because we all have limited time, money, energy, and we prefer to put that into telling more stories about the objects we already have. At any time, we have 6,000 objects in storage. So our gallery renovation and the loan to the National Museum in Korea are opportunities to activate those stories and tell new stories. So that's what we're focusing on. I think so much of what motivated Mesopotamian culture to sort of navigate its world, to navigate the cosmos. Where does humankind fit in this big picture? How to order it, how to understand it, how to grasp it. It's that ability to conceptualize one's place in the world that is just mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. And really, honestly, what are we still trying to do today? All each of us does every day when we wake up is try to make sense of our world and some days it's really hard. So we're doing exactly the same thing. And so I would argue the similarities are so strong, even though so many millennia apart. The answer is in almost every single way. It really goes to that ingenuity again, that search for knowledge, for order, for understanding the world in which they lived. The Mesopotamians were obsessed with observing everything, and not just observing, but recording it. Obsession with understanding their universe and the cosmos, and their role in it, as we talked about before, that led to these extraordinary innovations, such as writing. A human, that's that ability to conceptualize, to think in the abstract, to make something abstract concrete by putting it into writing, is extraordinary. I mean, we take it for granted, but we all write today because of the Mesopotamians and others who invented it. Cities, the idea of ordering oneself in cities and having common services and jobs and everyone doing a specialty. I mean, what do we do today? I mean, it's really quite astonishing. But it's that, and that basic foundation from very early on leads to ever more sophisticated interrogation, inquiries, intellectual inquiries and knowledge production. But you also have these myths and these stories that are written down and communicated, even in this room, via images. And then, of course, it's mathematical, it's accounting. The accounting is one of the main reasons. Keeping track of things and surplus, for instance, is one of the reasons that writing really kind of, probably develops, but also it becomes a really viable technology. But that then turns into how do you order that information? So you start to have what is called the sexagesimal system, right? Which is what we use today. It's based on 6 on 60. These are all concepts that come from the Mesopotamian desire to order what they're seeing, what they're observing, what they're recording, and how to keep it in an organized form to be a system, not just a one-time observation. They're recording, they're really looking closely at the world around them, and much of that, becomes modern day science. Obsessive search for knowledge production and for understanding, and then producing knowledge from those observations, and writing it down so others could build on it up until today is really an astonishing legacy. Astonishing. When you talk about it, you get goosebumps because you feel so connected. These were people who did this and who came up with this exceptional thinking. And again, like we said before, just looking to understand and make sense of their place in the world. Thank you so much, and I'd like to thank the National Museum of Korea for this amazing opportunity to bring the Mesopotamian collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art to Korea and beyond our usual venue of New York City. So we're very grateful for the opportunity.